The man, the myth, the legend, Kephrii is out in full force, hovering over the Ashe as well, which, by the way, is of course officially enabled for this patch. Now, in our previous quarterfinal, we saw an Ashe versus Ashe battle on Route 66, but right now we're in Hollywood, and it's going to be a defense first, which means this is a real pick. It's not the Widowmaker sniper we're used to. It's a different kind of sniper, but Kephrii is still sniping.
He does throw the dynamite, which does give away that there is going to be the Ashe. He was doing it to get a bit of early ult charge, didn't really get much for it, but
Nothing from it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the way it is, but
it happens. All's well that ends well. They've got an interesting composition here. I do like this. The Pharah pressures from a nice catch on Restia as well. And you've got Kephrii to hold down sightlines as well. Makes it very hard for Nova to rotate.
What's a 2019 take on the original Pharah Widow composition that Global Esports Pantheon were playing this time around? It's just with the Ashe instead. And Nova now have to wait for respawn. It's actually good that they're not starting on Doomfist. Having the D.Va here will help them a lot against both Kephrii and Water, but they need all 6 members to do so.
They need to find a good opportunity to dive and get aggressive onto Kephrii, and that's, I mean, they went for the dive, but A, they took a huge chunk of damage as they made the maneuver, and B, it was a long distance, and this is just the fallout from that. Nice save there, Water not going down. Kephrii and back will go down in the dive nonetheless, but you've still got Medic who can commit a race. You've still got Water and Sakura sticking in this, keeping everything on lockdown. Nova are going to get repelled here.
The good news is Global Esports Pantheon are able to get enough return kills with that rocket barrage. Nova, though, they are able to get a couple of picks, which should allow them to get back in here, maybe with something to play with. All 6 members are alive for GE Pantheon, though, so likely what's going to end up actually happening is they're all going to fully regroup. We're back to the drawing board. We're back to square one. At least there's less ultimates on the side of GE Pantheon, though. Some important ones will be coming up soon.
So now, this defense has worked. Even when the dive was semi-successful, it was a little bit troubled, but a slightly better setup could just result in... Never mind. Well...
yeah, this is another loss, but I do want to point out a very interesting combo. It's, I guess, fairly obvious, but what you do see here is when you do have Kephrii coming through with the Bob, you can damage boost the Bob as well, and Medic does have Valkyrie available to make things even better. The Discord orb actually works quite well as well, so you get and Supercharge if you really want to go nuts on the damage, so there's a lot of ways you can maximize damage there. About 6 ultimates nearly available for GE Pantheon. This is likely to be a definite hold unless Nova Esports can come back strong the next fight.
Water's found a sick angle here, right in the backside, finds Oyo before any response comes in, and now they're just drilling down the rest of the damage. Sakura commits to self-destruct here and should be able to get back in the mech. Blue's going to block that one up, but they're still going to get the kills, and this may even make it possible to... in fact, they already have rezzed Water, so never mind. I mean, that's so beautiful.
And now Nova Esports, they didn't use anything there, and they need to save. They need to bank up as much as possible. GE Pantheon only have one really big support. There's a Grav coming through, so the Transcendence must be saved for the Grav. If the Transcendence is used too early, the Grav likely will clean up their team. The Bob's going to be a big placement here from Kephrii as well. That has to be a lot of value coming from him.
There's the dive, very nicely committed. Oh, bump off on Nexus just as he goes Primal Rage. Oyo's already dead as well. Kephrii's in a huge snipe nest here. Finds Restia as well. It's 2 for 2 on the supports as Water found the 3rd one. And Nova, even with all these ultimates, just, I mean, there's nothing going on here. They're not getting that conversion again. That was arguably a cleaner setup for the dive, though. They didn't counter the fact that Kephrii wasn't in the bunker.
I mean, there's basically an ult for an ult there. Nexus used the ultimate Primal Rage. Valkyrie was used as well, but Kephrii still holds on to Bob. The Transcendence is still available. Important because, again, you need to save it for that Graviton Surgeon. This is probably the last fight now if Nova Esports do not cap. This is going to be very big for GE Pantheon. This is possibly going to give them that one map in return. Nova are in dire straits.
This is not a good position at all. They do still have
Grav has to be big.
They had it last fight though, and they still didn't get anything for it. This is a really difficult situation. Backwall still holding on to a Transcendence. Aggressive move on that sound barrier. This is them trying to set up a potential for a dive, but exactly, with that hold, it's already run out. This is going to be the Bob commit. The Transcendence on the payload is Crazy S is already down. The Grav, I think it got eaten. It must have been by Sakura. Double self-destruct. Neither gets anything either way, as Sakura will not get back on the mech, but the barrage is huge from Water. Finds 2 before going down himself, and Kephrii, the other DPS, still in the fight, still pumping out the damage, still putting out the pain, the dynamite, the shots. It's only a matter of time, I feel, until one goes down. There he is. It's a headshot from Backwall, nicely handled. full hold going to be coming through here. But GE Pantheon, they are not looking to lose any more maps today.
And Nova Esports ran into a brick wall there. They had nothing to get past. They also ran into that. They ran into every single wall they possibly could have because they could not get past that defense whatsoever. It's once again the combination between playing a sniper hero on Kephrii, whether that's Widowmaker or the Ashe now, and comboing that up with water on the fire. There's so much damage coming through, so much early poke potential. You see at the end there, the desperation sound barrier. You know things are going poorly when you have to use a sound barrier just to get through the choke, just to get on top of the point, and then you don't have enough sound barrier left to actually make your aggressive play happen, to actually make the brawl happen. You never really touch Kephrii on the high ground either, because even with Craziest flying up at him, Kephrii coach guns away, slides himself back on the high ground. Craziest has to land back because his cooldown is into effect now. So for Nova Esports, maybe they should have run a Widowmaker there, which does contest water meta again, Kephrii, but they did not do that, and now they're probably regretting it.
Also, micro plays, y'all. This is the one halt that came out from Anihyok. It caught, I think, about 4 members who all had a sound barrier, and it pulled them right up against a wall. It put them in a really awkward spot. That's why the sound barrier ended up being for Nout, right? Because by the time they were close enough to actually commit, it had fully run out. That one halt probably changed the course of that fight. At the very least, it muted the bulk of that sound barrier.
The sound barrier was wasted to start with anyway. If you have to use it to get through a choke, it's already not going to be a very good ultimate. They have to use it because they're too concerned about losing members. The halt adds insult to injury. It probably doesn't make things any easier, but it was likely already going to be a bit of a
halt just
push.
Flips you off. While
now you're sort of in the position where Blue's going to respond to the sniper with the McCree. So here we go. This is the kind of anime action we want to see. It's Ashe versus McCree.
Come on.
And one in water, both on the firers as well.
Let's not get into this. Just keep that weeb stuff out of it.
What we are going to get into, though, is Global Esports already pressing on through. This is a much better start than what Nova had. Look at that, one taking a lot of early damage. Blue took a lot of early damage. No one dying on rotation from GE Pantheon.
Big wrap around. Now water's opened up. Nice catch on one as well. Kephrii really showing his chops. Blue is yet to make the same kind of waves here. And now they just start pummeling out the bunker, forcing Nexus onto the low ground. That was the
They already have point control.
Now they can just juke him out. Like you said, point control, and with no high ground available for Nova, Kephrii still going off, finds Blue. It is all over, but the crying Kephrii finds his 4th. Water even gets one to boot as Oyo was committing the res, the rocket barrage to close things out. One does get full, one. And that's going to be the cap out from GE Pantheon, or at least the 1/3. The only third they needed. Now we are all tied up.